So in the back area, the Roller Team 696, we've got the fixed island bed, really comfortable, and you've got hanging space at each side, storage space above. The great thing about these is there's also storage space underneath them. So as I say, never going to run out of space for anything that you bring with you, as well as then having the main garage storage area underneath this side of the bed. In the back, again, you've got your blinds and your fly screens. And you've got roof lights that you can open up, and every window still has this blind and fly screen, so you can get nice and dark in the evening. Just remembering the safety switch on this window that we seen earlier on when we were outside. This is the safety switch here, so that will shut off your heating and hot water if it's on gas, just to avoid recirculation. So again, my advice is just not to open that window. So in this section, I'll show you how to change your gas bottle over when it's empty. So first of all, we'll find the gas spanner. It's located in the central compartment in the front of the van, just down here, just so that it's kept safe and doesn't fall out the van. So once we've found the gas spanner, we'll go to the gas compartment. You can leave it open and use this clip so that it stays open. So what you'll see down here is that, and in general this is what it will look like when the vehicles are handed over, that you've got one full bottle here, and then the partial bottle from the previous guest will be attached, so that you will have the benefit of using that gas before you need to switch over. So this bottle here is now empty, and we need to swap over to this bottle. So just to show you, the bottle needs to be completely closed on the top, so always check that it's turned all the way to the right and completely closed, again because it's lefty loosey to let the gas into the van, and turn it all the way to the right to tighten to stop that from happening. So we'll turn it all the way right at the minute. We confirm 100% that the bottle's closed by turning it all the way to the right. Now it's time to loosen the nut to change the bottle, and it's opposite thread to the top, so it's right to loosen and left to tighten here. So we'll take it and then turn it to the right to loosen, and then you can loosen this by hand and remove it by hand, okay? Simple as that. And as I say, because it's completely closed here, no gas will escape from the bottle. And then we've got the full bottle over here, opposite, so it's left to tighten. So put this into the thread, and just again by hand you're turning this to the left. Make sure that it goes into the correct thread. Sometimes it can be easy to misthread them, but if you're threading it properly, it will tighten easily by hand all the way in there. And then you use the gas spanner provided just to tighten it ever so slightly, like so, okay? And then you just tighten up your gas bottle. So now we've exchanged the pigtail onto the new gas bottle. It's completely tight here, and then we can now open it by turning it all the way to the left, and the new gas will now come into the van. So here's instructions how to use the main control panel that's inside the van. When you press the unlock screen, this is the screen that you're faced with. It's a touch screen, and you can move it from left to right. All that I ever want my guests to concern themselves about is the four icons in this L here. So your switches, resources, room climate and hot water. Notifications will come up if there's any issues, but the rest of these things here you don't need to worry about. First thing that will show you is resources. So when you click on resources, what you see is the condition of your starter battery and your leisure battery, and you also see your freshwater tank and your wastewater tank. The batteries charge when you're driving, they charge when you're plugged into mains electric, and they also charge off the solar panels that are fitted to the vehicle, so they will generally take care of themselves. On the other side, as I say, you can see at the top here, you can see the fresh water reading 66%. As that goes down, obviously you top the fresh water up. Underneath that is your wastewater, currently sitting at 0%. As that goes up, it just means that you need to release it, as you've been shown earlier. When you look at the top right hand corner here, you can see the plug symbol. What that plug symbol is showing is that we're plugged into the electric, and we're also getting that electric. So when you see that plug symbol, it means that you can use your electric for your heating and your hot water. Okay. So now that I've pressed back, we can now look at switches. So when you click on switches, you're faced with these three icons here. You've got your water pump. So when you turn your water pump on, that means that you've got water now to come through your taps for your shower and for your toilet flush. When you turn on your outdoor light, it's a light above the door outside. Simple as that. The interior light, when you turn that on, it's like the master switch for the back of the van. That powers everything in the back of the van, and then therefore means that all the switches will start to work and all the lights will start to work. It also powers the switch behind your TV, so it's important that if you want to watch the TV, that this interior light switch needs to be on. And then the last two things I will show you is your room climate and hot water. So when you click on your room climate, you've got the option of heating and ventilation. We'll click on ventilation first of all. It just shows you that you've got a fan that you can turn on. You've got settings here where you can adjust that fan and it blows cool air throughout the van for you. If it's heating that you need, you can click on your heating. It takes you through to this screen. You'll see underneath it will tell you the temperature that's currently inside the van, and that uses the thermostat beside the control panel. You can select the temperature that you want, and this will be the temperature that obviously it won't drop below this temperature inside the van. I always recommend that we keep it on the comfort setting, and then most importantly we select the power source at the bottom right. As we'd seen earlier on, we're plugged into electric, so we can use electric. However, if we didn't have electric and we were only using gas, we can select this here, we can turn electric off and our gas will automatically go on. And then we press back, and now that would be the heating on gas. Click back in it again, you can see that there. If we wanted to change that over to electric, because we have it, we can click on here, we can turn the gas off and we can turn the electric on. I would always recommend when you've got electric using the 1800 watt rather than 900 watt. So that's the heating system now on electric. When you move over to hot water, you can click on here, turn your hot water on. You've got three options for hot water. You've got 40 degrees, 60 degrees and 70 degrees. I would normally just keep it on 60 degrees or the comfort setting depending on the control panel. The pump needs to be on to circulate the water, which we turned on earlier, and then, as I say, your power source mimics what was selected for your heating. So as I say, it's electric just now, but again you can also go in here and you can adjust it and change it depending on what you've got. So you press back there, now you can see your heating's on at 18 degrees, the hot water's on at 60 degrees. It'll take around about 30 minutes before you have enough hot water, and then, as I say, if there was two people staying in the van, that would be the equivalent of having a 2-minute shower each before you would then need to wait a little while before you would have some more hot water. And it's really, really important that before you drive off to your next destination and before you close your gas bottle or before you disconnect your electric cable, that you turn your heating off. So, as I say, before you go outside to close off your gas bottle or disconnect your electric cable, always click on the room climate, go into the top right hand corner and turn it off here, and go to your hot water and turn it off here before you then go outside and disconnect. So in this section I'm going to discuss the most common fault codes that you'll see appear on the control panel and how we resolve the issues. In this instance, we've got our heating on gas, and we've got a notification down here. Okay, so this notification says, warning, heater combi 6E, window above cowl open, and the problem is with the window switch. So as I will have mentioned on the demonstration of the vehicle, there's a safety switch on one of the windows in the habitation area that's above the gas exhaust. And when that window is open, it automatically switches off the heating and hot water system to avoid recirculation of carbon monoxide, etc. So if we go to the back of the vehicle, you'll see what I mean here. Okay, so it's this switch here, and because this window is open and the heating's on gas, as soon as we do that, to avoid the recirculation of the gas coming back into the van, the heating system's been cut off. So all that you simply need to do in this case is just close that window. Okay, so always recommend that you keep this window closed when the heating system's on gas, and again there's a wee sticker there just to remind you. If we go back to the control panel now, if we click unlock, we'll notice that notification has now went away. Okay, so that window switch is now being closed and the heating system is now working perfectly. Okay, so here's another common fault that can be had when you select the power source for the vehicle. So in this case we have electric selected for the heating and hot water. However, the electric cable is not connected to the van. So this is what would happen if you left your heating and hot water on and you disconnected your electric cable. So it comes on automatically there, just telling you that you've no longer got 230 volts into the vehicle. And obviously there's an issue because your heating is on electric. So what all that we simply need to do there, unlock the screen. Okay, so you can see the notification here. It's just literally telling you that you've not got any 230 volts. You can select that there, and you select OK. Okay, so the main thing that you would need to do is you would just go back to your heating, because you've no longer got electric, and we've got electric selected there. The gas bottle's open in the vehicle, so you would just go from electric, you would turn your electric off, and you would turn your gas, and your gas would go on, okay, and then you press back. Heating is now on gas rather than electric, and your notification has disappeared. So this is probably the most common fault code that you'll see coming up when you're using the control panel, in its relation to either having an empty gas cylinder or having your gas cylinder closed when your heating system has been left on. And it's normally the latter that this pops up on. So it's really simple to solve. So the system tells you that your gas bottle is empty. You just click OK on here. What you would want to do is go outside and just confirm that your gas bottle was either empty or was closed, and you would either rectify that by opening the gas bottle by turning the top all the way to the right, or by exchanging the gas bottle, and you'll see that video later on. And then basically all that you need to do is you'll see your notification. You can declare the issue resolved. As I say, you just by scrolling up, declare that issue resolved, reset the error. It does come up saying that it may persist, and it does sometimes come back on a couple of occasions before it will then advise you that your system is working perfectly. Okay, so in that case here, you see that your notification has went away. We've opened up the gas bottle, and the hot water is now kicking in. You could turn your heating on to do the same. So you would go to your heating, click on heating, comfort, leaving it on gas, and pressing back there. And you'll see now the heating and the hot water is on using the gas. You're driving at the petrol station and park beside the pump, so that you can see that the pump's on the left hand side. So turning right and using the right lane round this roundabout. The width of the vehicle being 2.5 metres doesn't cause any real issues on the major roads in Scotland. It's only when you get onto the more remote places, when you get on your adventure, that the roads start to become narrower and more windy, and the width of the vehicle starts to become a slight issue. The dimension stickers on the windscreen are really useful for you to refer to when you're driving. If you've got any concerns at all, obviously just take your time. You're on holiday. Have a look at the stickers before you take any risks. The height of the vans is 3 metres. There's very few low bridges to look out for, but as long as you don't use McDonald's drive-thrus or Starbucks drive-thrus, you're generally okay. If you see a barrier stopping vans going into a car park, you don't use that car park, and you just be kind of aware of any overhanging trees and bushes that might scrape along the side of the vehicle. I tend to find that it's the length of the vehicle being 7.5 metres plus that causes most of the issues, and it's only generally really when you're parking in tight spaces that it does become an issue. So you just have to give yourself some extra space. With the length of the vehicle and quite a lot of that length being behind the back wheels, it does mean that you do have an overhang and quite a swing when you're coming out of tight spaces. As I say, it only really becomes an issue when you're trying to find parking spots. just in case. We've got my phone number, and you can give me a call, and the number for WhatsApp. We've also got the number for Ford Assistance, just in case you need to give them a call during your hire. But if you have any issues at all during the hire, please reach out to me. I will help you first and foremost, and then we would escalate it if need be. On the left-hand side of the road in the UK, might take a little bit of getting used to. As long as you take your time, you'll have no problems. Most of our vehicles are fitted with automatic gearboxes that make the driving really, really simple and pretty stress-free. Yeah, so obviously looking at this bridge, we're not going to have any issues with the height restriction, but there will be a couple of bridges throughout Scotland that you would have to pay attention to, but in this case there's no issue. So the roundabout that we're coming up to now is a more typical roundabout that you would find in Scotland and throughout the UK. Generally when you're coming up to a roundabout, the left lane is for going left or for going straight on, and the right lane is for turning right. We're turning right on this occasion, so I'll filter into the right lane before I approach the roundabout. We're always giving way to traffic on the right hand side, so it's always best just to slowly come to a halt, take your time, look for any traffic on the right, and then pull away safely. It's always good practice to indicate as you're coming off the roundabout. So we're back at the yard now. We're just going to park the vehicle up and reverse in, and I'll show you the reverse camera and how that operates. So all our vehicles are fitted with reverse cameras. Some are different types, but they all basically have the same feature that they'll come on automatically when you activate the reverse gear. So in this van in particular, the automatic van that we've got, it's just simply putting your foot in the foot brake and rotating the dial until it's on reverse. And in this case, the reverse camera is built into the head unit, and it automatically is displayed on the camera. Best practice is to use the reverse camera as an aid only for reversing. So again, the best thing to do if you're travelling in a group or travelling with your partner or your husband or wife, whatever it may be, ask them to jump out the vehicle and jump to the back of the van and just give you some guidance and direction when you're doing your manoeuvre. Again, using the reverse camera first and foremost is just an aid. Stop! The length of the vehicle that in particular seems to cause the most issues when it comes to manoeuvring the vehicles around. There is a lot of the vehicle behind the back wheel, so because of that it does mean that when you're manoeuvring in tight spaces, the back of the vehicle does swing out and kind of can overhang, so you have to pay particular care and attention when you're in supermarket car parks, making any parking manoeuvres, and also manoeuvring away from a curb or from any tight space when there's anything kind of in this vicinity. Always just be aware that the back end of the vehicle can swing out and cause an issue. If you've got any windows open while you're parked up, always have them fully closed before you drive off. Okay, so similar with your roof lights. The roof lights can open, and can be opened like so to vent the vehicle, but always make sure before you drive off they're in the fully closed position.